leader Danny Watts in the similar but differently liveried car.
Yeah, and we'll see how they do on their pit stops. Last round of pit stops, as we see Marino Franchitti there, the Highcroft car, of which Marino, of course, is driving now, did I believe do one more lap during the previous stint than the Striker Racing HPD. Of course, pretty much identical cars, and you can see a lot of traffic as they go there through the Porsche curves. But it's going to be the fuel consumption here could be critical between those two cars as the race unfolds.
Well, fuel and tyres, Stuart, is the first thing that any team does, even if the driver comes in saying, I've got a chronic misfire, because whatever it needs fixing, you will need fuel and tyres at some stage. Was he just really low on fuel? I'm really not sure. Oh, do you know, instead of me wibbling, his last lap time was a 4:24.
But that was his in lap, and he does appear to be going, so it could have been low on fuel.
Yeah.
But let's hope for our sake that car hasn't got a problem. It can resume battle with the Ford GT, because it's a wonderful car and it's racing it out.
Yeah, but to the line he wouldn't have lost 20 seconds coming down pit road,
no,
so
no.
that's still a slow lap for some reason.
But the Aston has now made its third pit stop of the day. The class-leading Ford GT of Jonathan Hirschi has not.
Yes. No, you're right, absolutely. I don't know, actually. 4:24 for an in-lap compared to 3:58 for Hirschi's last lap. No, maybe it's just we're used to seeing quicker cars. Maybe the Aston actually had no problem at all. I should withdraw all that and stop talking rubbish. Let's get down to the pit lane then. We just saw the number 4 Peugeot handing over. Here's Nico Lapierre.
Nicolas, juste envie de vous dire un mot. Bravo pour 3 heures de course.
Nico, you're in a podium position at the moment after 3 hours of the race. How are you feeling? So I was quite stressy at the beginning. Obviously, lots of pressure from the Audi behind me of Alain McNish. Had to change the tyres during the pit stop. We didn't lose too much to the head of the queue. In the opening laps of McNish, you really were having a great battle. Yeah, he said actually that was really nice, really fun. Knew I really couldn't let him pass.
La voiture de Sébastien Bourdet a abandonné. Est-ce que
Seb's car's out.
ça vous arrive également?
Do you think that is going to happen to you? Well, hopefully not, obviously. The pace is very quick, but the car's strong. Very hard to see what's going on. We've got to concentrate on our car, on our race, and try and keep going without any problems, without any contact. So Nicolas Lapierre busy chatting there. Meanwhile, lots and lots of very close on-track action. Back with it again, and McNish again has got somebody in his sights. Tom Christensen, rather, has got somebody in his sights, and that is the number 4 Peugeot of Loic Duval. So as the number 8 car comes onto pit road, suddenly Christensen is sniffing third-place Peugeot fumes. And Stuart, as a driver, it's one thing to be getting closer, it's another when you're almost within fingertips grasp of a pass.
It is, but as we saw with Nicolas Lapierre and Alain McNish on the first lap, it's tough to pass. You know, that Peugeot is pretty quick in a straight line, and a tough car to pass. I think Christensen will be pitted soon. It seems to me that they've only done 3 stops. Loic Duval just come out of the pits on a 4 stop, so that gap's going to widen soon.
And Stefan Sarrazin, the race leader, has also just made another pit stop as well. So we're in the middle of a pit sequence now, and it would appear that the Audis are managed to go just a little bit farther than the Peugeots.
Which means that race leader Ant Davidson has saved a lap, or that number 1 car has saved a lap on the second and third place Peugeot.
Actually, it did come in a lap after the number 2 car on the last sequence of pit stop.
Yeah.
And in fact, Stefan Sarrazin, by my reckoning, did a 12-lap stint that time around. And as we said a few minutes ago, Nicolas Lapierre in the Oreca Peugeot managed a 13-lap stint.
Well, I wonder if they've got a fuel consumption that falls between 2 stools, and if they do 3 12-lappers, they end up getting a 13-lapper or something like that out of it, because the tank's not quite drained by 12 laps, and so gradually you build up an incremental. If you keep filling it, no, that doesn't work, does it?
Yes, it doesn't.
No, it does, because you fill it every time, yeah. Dear, sometimes I wonder why I open my mouth. Never mind. Here is third, fourth, and fifth. Well, so much for the safety car trying to break up the race. At the moment, we've got a good little battle going on here, albeit a minute away from the lead pair. Yeah, and the fact that Christensen has yet to make, Christensen and Dumas have yet to make their fourth pits of the day. Yes, so very much a false dawn, I'm afraid, for Audi. If they're this close at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, they might be thinking about it, and relief of pressure there for Loic Duval, I would think. As in come both Audis together, do they? Hankook Porsche just going out in a GT2 class, and Simonson on board. Let's get back down to the pit lane.
Well, what is exactly happening on your car?
We don't know yet. Unfortunately, we couldn't restart, so they're still working on it. We have to see what's going on.
Are you going to drive right after, or is Cindy saying it?
No, Cindy took the start. Natasha is right now in the car. She will drive again 1 hour, and then I will took over.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
So the three girls, of course, sharing the 61 Maytag competition car, that Ford GT. Natasha Gatchnang driving after Cindy Alleman started, and that was the third Swiss girl, Ryle Frey. In the pits then, Romain Dumas stays in, so this will be a fuel short stop only. And Tom Christensen goes back out in front of him.
Interesting enough, Tom Christensen passed Romain Dumas early on in that stint. Romain Dumas then hung on to the back of him throughout the whole stint, so we thought Tom Christensen was going to be a bit quicker, but no, Romain Dumas was within a second of him for that whole stint.
And in terms of fuel consumption, they're both on the same par with most of the other guys. They too did 12 laps since their previous pit stop.
Peugeot leading outright and in P1. The HPD of the Stracker Racing team leading in the P2 class. There it is, because we haven't seen very much of it. Ford GT of the Maytag team, the 60 car, lies third. And Jimmy Bruni leading the GT2 class in his Ferrari F430. Back aboard the number 2 Peugeot 908 of Stéphane Sarrazin. Rushing up towards what is a very fast approach here. Currently chasing our race leader, who is Anthony Davidson in Peugeot number 1. 46.9 seconds between them at the line. Third place, Loic Duval, and then number 4, Orica Peugeot. And there you can see the second place car. Cars 1 and 2 running positions 1 and 2, making life very easy for me.
Yeah, and Anthony Davidson has just made, hasn't he? Did you just say that?
He has just completed his pit stop, yes.
Yeah, so we'll see how that, as we see the number 12 Lola Rebellion car onto pit lane, Neil Jani at the wheel.
Yes.
And also a note here that the Jaguar that we talked about a few minutes ago has retired from the race. They've had, again, this engine management system, for some reason, just hasn't been playing the game at all this weekend. That's a problem they haven't had, to my knowledge, in the past, and in the few races they've done in the American Le Mans series. It's been a constant bugbear all week here, and that car has officially been retired.
Well, that's a bit disappointing for the men from Coventry. I was just about to say Browns Lane, but of course that's just a site now rather than a factory. Men from Coventry who have come down for the weekend to watch the Jaguar here. Not an official presence, but hello to Mike Mulholland and all the others who are down here. Met them, and they were already 2 1664s into the morning at midday, so I think they're going to enjoy their weekend no matter what. Going to get down to the pit lane and catch up with Emmanuel Collard in just a second.
Comment ça va?
How you doing? Pretty good. Battling at the front of the category. Everything started pretty well. Ferrari's looking quite hard to race against at the moment.
Le but, c'est de rester à ce niveau-là ou de...
The goal to stay right there at the front as long as you can. At the moment, yeah, absolutely.
En espérant que la Ferrari aille pas de mieux en mieux aussi, on verra.
He said we can stay in front if we can, but at the moment the Ferrari seems to be getting better and better as the race goes on.
Rapide que les LMP1 et LMP2, donc j'imagine c'est pas très simple.
They said, how are you dealing with the cars a little bit quicker, the P1 and P2 cars? Is it simple? Is it a little bit difficult because they're quite a lot quicker than us, even more now in GT2. In general, you have to spend a lot of time watching the mirrors.
Vous rouler quand?
Really got to pay attention.
Dans 3 quarts d'heure à peu près.
Bonne chance.
Okay, so he should be getting back in about a quarter of an hour. And of course, Manu Carr, for many years, a Porsche stalwart, and therefore finds himself very much at home here in this GT2 category, just with the engine in front. So, Stuart, I would imagine an awful lot of relearning to do, not in terms of necessarily getting the most out of the car when things are going well, but in the way that drivers catch cars when they're not going well. You don't want to accidentally think you're in a Porsche and hoof it, when in fact you need to be doing something very different in a big front engine car.
Yeah, not only that, the Porsche is a GT car, but Manu Collard has been driving the factory Pescarolo for the last few years, and that is a complete different kettle of fish. In that, he's used to catching cars and passing them. In the Corvette, he's used to watching cars in his mirrors. So, you know, for a professional driver such as Collard, you're supposed to jump in and out of cars, a quick car, a slow car. You have to deal with traffic in different ways. That's part and parcel of being the pro, and only teams like Corvette sign the best up. He is one of them.
He is indeed, isn't he? He's won the GT class here before, has Manu Collard, back in 03. Of course, he also won the LMP2 class last year in the S6 Porsche RS Spider. So, you know, yet another different car under his belt. He's driven an awful lot of cars during his career, hasn't he, Collard? And he is you know, as you said, a thorough professional and doing an extremely good job as ever this weekend.
And a great addition to what is always a sort of you know, obviously the Pratt & Miller guys and the GM Goodwrench Corvettes, very much America's sports car, and they do have a strong American presence on their driver lineup. But it is a very multinational team. Always has been. You know, the drivers they've got Ollie Gavin, a Brit. They've got Olivier Beretta, a Frenchman, basically, although he is actually a Monegasque. You know, he's got the very French, you know, ambiance around him. You've got Dane Jan Magnussen. You've got a genuine Frenchman now in Manu Collard. That's 4 of the 6 drivers. Hang on a minute, where are them Americans? Well, you've got Johnny O at least, so, you know, he's holding the flag up as well for them. And who's the other one? Antonio Garcia. Well, Spanish, yeah. So 6 drivers, 1 American driver. Now, obviously, Ron Fellows was always a stalwart, but he's now a little bit more. Yeah, well, there you go, exactly. But North American is at least the right side of the Atlantic. But again, they hire the best. They don't look at the passport, they look at the results.
Yeah, it's a world brand, and as you say, they hire the best they can get a hold of. Down in the pit lane here is the AF Corsa car. It was Tony Villander, I think, at the wheel.
It was, yes.
And we believe it's handed over to Giancarlo Fisichella.
That's what it's telling us.
Yeah, that's definitely Fisichella's helmet getting in there. So his first stint as a GT2 driver at Le Mans in race conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, as we said before, Jean Alesi has been here before, although he professes to recall nothing about it, which might be the Formula 1 years that intervened, wiping his memory of anything. Last lap? Oh, not last lap. But yes, genuine Le Mans virgin, really, there. Giancarlo Fisichella, all the years, all the miles he's done in racing, and he's now entering a very different arena for the first time. Blue flags waving below the crest of the road as the Audi comes whistling through.
Shot.
Yeah, so there are some great camera angles here. No matter how many photos you see, again, when you see it every year, you are reminded that Le Mans is such a different environment. You know, the shots through the trees, you don't get that at too many other tracks. The lines in the middle of the road, the public highway, really gives a very different look to the track for the drivers as well. And Stuart, I mean, that must be part of it when you go out for the first time in free practice. Inevitably, as a rookie, you probably end up going out sort of late in the afternoon or into the evening. It must really be quite a different experience to start off here for the first time.
It's a completely different experience to anywhere you go. As we see Jean Todt walking down the pit lane, having a look at Le Mans, president of the FIA.
I'm liking him in a boiler suit. It's a very 1950s mechanic look, isn't it?
So even Jean Todt has to wear the right attire to walk down the pit lane. Such is the rules and regulations at Le Mans.
Yeah, you normally don't keep your back to the cars that are coming down the pit lane, do you? Somebody may be a bit short to toe on that one, but...
Well, obviously, he's never walked up and down the pit lane for 24 hours like some of us have. He's obviously just sat on a perch watching his cars dominate and organising things from the pit wall. But, I mean, back in the old days, and again, you know, this is all part of the safety. Back in the old days, of course, Peugeot were prone to setting light to things at fairly regular intervals. I was at a very, very close proximity to both of their fuel fires in the pits during my regular Le Mans days, and Yeah, when things go woof, you move really, really fast, because in those days, shorts was about as fireproof as we got.
It is amazing how fast you can move, isn't it, when you have to?
Oh, my word, yes.
The Team Brookladdy, Janetta Zytek just making a scheduled pit stop down there. That car, we saw, if you were with us during the warm-up, had a bit of an incident out on course, and there was some quite extensive left front suspension damage, which they did fix, of course, during the break before the race, and it was looking absolutely perfect when the car went out. So new front bodywork and new left front suspension, and it looks like a pretty routine stop down there on the pit lane. Meanwhile, here is the... is this a battle now?
No, we were just watching Manuel Pirro trying to wriggle his way back in for past the Kiefel ASM car. Okay. So Pirro is currently posted 24th on timing and scoring, and the Kiefel AFM car with still Warren Hughes is 3rd in the P2 class, and he's completed 48 laps to Manuel Pirro's 46 laps. So that racing car did lose 2 laps with whatever ailed it early on as Pierre Bruneau's car heads back out, and Warren Hughes were battling hard in this category. The Oak Racing Pescarolo Judd behind. Mathieu Lahaye, the timing and scoring screen don't show that. It may not do at home either, but Lahaye, well, there are 2 identical Oak Racing cars, the ones with the day glow pink on the front splitter there. The team manager put that on personally for me the other day when I asked him nicely. He said, oh yes, that is on our list. I said, please, before the next time you go out. But they've got 2 different cars, one with quick young guys in and one with the gentleman drivers that normally share. They I think very wisely have decided to separate fish from fowl and let the young guys really have a run at the class lead.
That's right, because there's some yellow flags over there, but generally,
as a general, of an approaching president, I think.
In the Le Mans series, generally speaking, in the LMP2 class, it's a Pro-Am category this year.
Now then, that is the WR Zytek of the Cellini. Is it brothers or père et fils?
Brothers.
So Philip Cellini, that?
Yeah, where are they? 37. I may have to go on to the illegible screen 3. No, they're 39th at the moment, having completed 44 laps to leaders 54. Popping in near there to see Vanina. She's been busy this weekend with lots of FIA potentates coming to see her. She had Michel Mouton visit her on Thursday, and the president makes certain he goes and sees her. She was clearly getting the earplugs in, so she will be ready to take over the 008 Lola Aston, which currently lies in 10th place in the hands of Frank Meyer. There it is. Olivier, the director, are you listening to me again?
And the WR, for some reason, didn't come into the pit lane.
Well, it hasn't got here yet.
Yeah, it did, yes.
Oh, no, it went
just
past.
crawled past the pits on the racetrack.
Yeah, so it did, yes. Clearly disorientated a little, Stuart, which is not a good thing.
No, but interesting enough, we're actually seeing a battle on the road for 10th place now. Christian Albers in the Collers Audi is closing in on Frank Maillard at a rate of knots. And hopefully that's going to start getting very interesting very soon. So Vanina X might have some work on our hands when she gets out there.
Well, and just ahead of those 2 is Guy Smith in the number 13 Rebellion Racing, Lola Judd Rebellion, whatever you want to call it. That car it's certainly it's down on straight line speed in compared to the Lola Aston Martin, certainly. But Guy Smith, having had very few laps this weekend, had all sorts of problems. Jean-Christophe Bouillard threw the car off the road a couple of days ago. They've had to actually repair the tub on that car.
On both the Rebellion.
On both Rebellions, indeed. But they've managed to scratch their way up to 3rd place, or 3rd among the petrol engine cars here in the LMP1 class. So hats off.
Yes, as they would say, it's 3rd place in the petrol class, because there is very definitely 2 different categories here. One for them as rattles and one as them as Dussons. Yes, exactly. One for the fuel burners, one for the oil burners. And there you can see, yes, that is the gap. And they've both had 4 pit stops, so I'm not sure who owes this one first, but they may end up racing down pit road. In fact, the Lola has spent 5 minutes 47 stationary, and the Audi 4 minutes 20, so they've lost a minute and a half in terms of longer stops as we look at the spike of it.
The reason for that would be that's idiotic safety car period where they close the pits and you have to wait.
That's right, he had to sit and wait for a minute and a half while not a marshal, a judge of fact, second only in authority to the clerk of the course, who should know the rules, stood there and patently did not know the rules that even I knew. I mean, you and I, Jeremy, went and asked quite extensively of team managers what the safety car rules were exactly, how they would operate, because they've all changed. And if I know, honest to goodness, a judge of fact should at least have some faintest indication of having some knowledge of the rules.
Well, I might have had the same judge of fact last year.
Yes. Mini rant is over, just for a moment. Audi's 1 hour Audi's 1 hour press release arrives at 6:30. Safety car period splits front runners, and there's about 20 words after that, none of which say damn it, or damn it, but I think probably the subtext there is damn it. Stefan Sarrazin leads from Anthony Davidson, gap down at the end of the last lap, Stuart, to 1.055 seconds.
Yep.
Game on.
Davidson really has got the bit between his teeth, and I think all the British fans out there will be really looking forward to him having a ding-dong battle with Sarrazin. I know us up here really want to see that car get into the lead.
Yeah, he's just been creeping closer and closer, Sarrazin Davidson. String of fast laps there, 3 minutes 22 last time around compared to Stefan Sarrazin's 3:25, and to go 3 seconds quicker than Stefan Sarrazin. I'm sure there must have been some traffic involved, most likely, but Sarrazin, as we know, he is no slouch, having won up until this year 3 poles in a row. Here we are, here, on board with the Audis. The Audi. They're still what, a minute or so, a minute and a half out behind the Peugeots, but pretty much not losing too much ground.
No, but they absolutely haven't been able to close the gap whatsoever, as we would expect, because they have not been faster at all throughout the week up to now.
Jean, vous êtes 5e pour l'instant dans votre catégorie.
John Lacey, you're 5th in class at the moment. How's it going? Yeah, we're using a strategy of fuel consumption at the moment. We're doing 1 or 2 laps more than the others at the moment, I think he's saying. We're looking towards the full 24 hours to try and make sure we get there to the finish first. We had a little problem with the thermostat. Nothing too much to worry about. Anything could chance. Great to be at the start, the little run across the road, and actually to start the race as well. When the race got underway, it was madness at the start. Well, of course, I'm used to sprint races, so I was pretty okay with that. Seem to get a lot of respect from all the others, so passed off without too much drama. Well, Stuart, it certainly did look a little bit like an overgrown Formula Ford race in the opening hour, but I mean, that's what we're used to at Le Mans. And from your driver's point of view, it must be quite difficult to watch your car in a wheel-to-wheel dice for lap after lap when you know, A, you're not in it yet and you'd actually like a go if they wouldn't mind, and B, it's not 24 minutes, it is 24 hours.
It is, it's very difficult, and especially when you're sat there and someone else is out there doing the business, but you really just have to trust your teammate. That's what this part of racing is all about. It's a team game.
So at the moment, Team Peugeot leads from Team Audi, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 here at Le Mans. We'll be back in just a second.